What's going on, guys? Just want to do a short video. I'll try to keep it short. But like I had a discussion with a friend last night, and a friend just posted a post on a similar topic about sobriety, about being sober, and I'm a person who loves to evaluate everything to greatest detail. It could be a blessing, but it could also be a curse because I'm so observant. I see things that people think I can't see, and I play dumb a lot. Um, but anyway, that's a different topic. But the thing is, I evaluate, observe everything to great detail, especially myself. And because I'm a person who likes to perfect everything I do, um, just because it's a challenge and I just want to compete against myself to reach new heights and achieve goals, and help others on the way. One thing that everyone knows me for is I love helping people. I'm a giver. I've got a big heart. But getting to the topic now about sobriety and soberness, I've thought long and hard. I've listened to a lot of AAs. Listened to other people's testimonies, psychologists, videos, details, and also with my spiritual side of things. Being a Christian, you realize the Lord. There's scripture that says, "Be a sober man in everything that you do." That way, the enemy doesn't have a foothold. And I just want to dig on that passage. And when I look back, each and every one of us, right, have got a different upbringing. Some of us were brought up in domestic violence. Some of us were brought up in poverty. Some of us were brought up in a broken home. Some of us were brought up without parents. Some of us were brought up in foster care. Some of us were brought up around alcohol and drugs. Some of us were brought up in a rich and loving family. Some people were brought up in a rich and distant family. Some people were brought up in a strict religious family or just a strict family. Like, there's all these different upbringings. As a child that is just full of love and joy at a young age, wants to express themselves, wants to be loving, giving. You look at the characteristics of a child, it's beautiful, right? Like, as adults, we're meant to guide and craft them, with discipline, with love, with knowledge, with learning. But everything done with gentleness, kindness, and love, But not one of us is perfect, so just keep in mind, I'm not expecting people to be this super wonder parent straight away, because this is where I'm getting at when it comes to sobriety. A lot of us have experienced things in a childhood that when we have come to a teenager, introduced into temptations, into trying things, we want to try to fit in to mask a pain that we haven't dealt with, a confusion that we don't understand why these things happen, a loss, that we will jump into trying to fit in with different groups, that we will try experience things, and we even lie to ourselves that it's good. Oh, we're just having fun, just a little bit, that we have all dealt into, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, experiencing different things that's not normal, like all these different things. Now, you think at the start, it's innocent, parties, sometimes it might go bad, it might go good, different social groups, whatever, you're doing all these things. And you might think, oh, it's been alright, I haven't had any problems. But we don't look at the little things as problems, like lying to our parents, our friends, lying to ourselves. A lie grows. Like, that Pinocchio story? It actually grows the size and eats us in the core. Violence, sleeping around, end up with a kid, or an abortion. There's multiple things that come from it. But what I want to get at, you times that by 5 years. Doing the same thing from a young age, masking your pain, trying to fit in, trying to find yourself, feeling lost, confused. You're doing this same habitual stuff. I can say sin, but I'll just keep it on this topic. Habitual temptations for 5 years, what happens? That lie increases and now starts to become a truth, right? You start to make excuses for it. Let's do it for 10 years. It's become such a habit now that you don't even notice it as a problem until the next day when you're coming out the cells or you got these messages on your phone from a woman or a dude, right? Or you're in hospital or you're at home stuck with this guilt because of the things you've done. But then you mask it with some more of it. More of it. And it becomes a thing, a pattern. Every single time that you make lies for it, you'll defend it. 20 years down the track, you tell yourself it's like you're starting to notice these things, so you try to quit. You might have gone 6 months without it. You think, yeah, whoa, yes, it's an achievement. Bloody oath it is. Imagine that long. You become this and you start to notice it, you try to quit. 6 months is a massive achievement. 1 week is a massive achievement. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm feeling good. And you go back to the environment where you usually do these things. What happens? Temptation comes along. You might dodge the first one, the second one, and then the third one you're just like, all right, I'll try a little bit. Boom, sucked in. And then it starts again. And then you feel guilt. This stuff eats at you. So for ages we've been doing these things, masking our pain, masking our confusion, our problems. We got hatred, we got grudges. So it all stems down to a heart thing. Now, with me, alcohol was a way for me to block out reality, block out certain pains that I had as a kid. Abandonment, neglect, violence. I'm not saying my parents were like that, but I've experienced things in my childhood that affected me. In my teenagers, the same. And I've made dumb mistakes where I've decided to drown things. But becoming a Christian, right, 8 years now, I gave all that away. All my sins, I asked for forgiveness. I even went to the people and asked them to forgive me. Even if they didn't want to, I still did it. Because I've changed my life away from that. I'm 8 years clean off the drugs. 6 months now off cigarettes. But alcohol has always been a stem. And it wasn't until this Saturday I've decided to quit. It's going to be a tough battle because this is where I'm trying to avoid certain places where it would be. Because alcohol has always been a situation that's got me in trouble in many areas. Whether it's violence, driving, lust, lying, whatever. And a lot of it is due to masking my pain. But when I consume the alcohol, I start to become that person back when I was a teenager that I wanted to be. More confident. Able to speak to women without being shy. Able to have courage and defend myself. To feel cool and fit in. Over time, when you drink alcohol, every time you drink alcohol, that person of yourself comes out. Right? And we can make excuses, oh, that wasn't me, and this, well, technically it was a part of you that you haven't dealt with. And with me, when I drink alcohol, I can have a little bit. I enjoy the taste of a drink. I'm not dodging anyone about alcohol, because, alcohol's not a sin. Even Jesus drank. But being a drunk, it is. But the thing I'm trying to speak about is if you notice that with this substance that you have is causing you to fall short and stumble, there's something you need to get rid of. And the reason you need to get rid of it is because you need to be sober to be able to deal with that little boy or that little girl inside of you that's been crying out for all these years, that hasn't been treated, that hasn't been looked into, that hasn't been healed, and that hasn't been able to let go and find peace. So I'm trying to find that peace. I'm trying to heal that brokenness, that the grudges, the hatred, the fear, the sadness, the sorrow. I'm trying to heal that. Right? And the only person that can heal the heart is the one that created it, right? He created all things, right? For love and joy. But we've allowed ourselves to live in a sinful, broken world and make sinful, broken decisions. So whatever method you use to try and heal, I think if any of you are having a problem with any temptation, stop it now. You can't be dealing and dwindling with this temptation and then crying out for help, but at the same time wanting to keep this in the side because you enjoy it, because people will come out and put all this energy and help into you for only for you to go backwards on the weekend and start again. And then you cry it again. And it just becomes this wolf, the boy who cried wolf episodes. You need to be honest, deep down honest with yourself. There is no shame in admitting that you fail, admitting you do wrong, right? There's more courage in a person admitting their faults, admitting their wrongs, than there are someone hiding it, masking it, and blaming others and making them look all bad and disgusting for the things they're doing. Don't be one of those people, right? Let God deal with them. Like my situation at the moment. Love your enemies. I know these people were trying to get me to react and become that angry person inside that's hurt. And he only comes out when it's on the alcohol. So I've given it up because I've realised I've used it to mask my pain all this time, and in the end it only just causes me more pain. Maybe down the track, probably years, I might have another drink again, but not until this man inside's healed. And I just think responsibility and maturity as an adult, if you want to grow and be an example for your children, or your future children, or your future spouse, you've got to heal and hear. Because it's selfish of you to go into a relationship or have kids, right, and try to raise them with morals when you're not even doing it yourself. You're a hypocrite. And I'm a person who doesn't want to be a hypocrite. So often I preach a lot of stuff and then here I am failing. And I'm taking a stand today. And it's been hard. I've had moments where I've quit for 6 months. I've quit for a year. I've done this. But I'm sticking to this. I'm sticking to this. Right? I don't reckon I'll probably drink until I get married. That probably won't never happen. I don't think I'm going to ever find someone to be evenly yoked with, to be honest. Lots of beautiful people out there, but I'm looking for someone that's on the same page. If you know what evenly yoked means, you understand me. But anyway, my focus now is to live a healthy life, healthy mind. I've given up so many things in my life that have been a hindrance. I make it sound like my whole life's been bad and all this stuff. I'm 37 years old. There's only a year and a half of my life that I was on drugs, on the crack. Yeah, I smoked weed as a teenager. I quit at 22 when my oldest daughter, mum, left me. Yes, I've delved into it here and there as an adult, but I don't look at marijuana as such a bad thing. It's a plant. It was provided for us, but anything that we can take and we abuse can be a problem, right? It's just like anything in life. If you can't start a day without a cigarette because you're going to be angry at others, well, then there's your problem. If you can't start a day without a massive session of bongs, well, there's your problem. If you can't start a day without a drink, you can't start a day without a coffee because you're going to be mean to everyone or be grumpy. These are the things that are called sin. These are the things that you need to get rid of. These are the toxic traits in your life you need to get rid of and mask. And the only way you're going to do that is to be honest with yourself. No one's ever died from saying sorry. No one's ever died by acknowledging their faults, right? It's all the people that hide it and build this bigger mountain. The ones that collapse. And sometimes us as human beings need to hit rock bottom to wake up out of our mess. And I've hit rock bottom many times. But I guess that's why a lot of people come to me for help, because they've seen me hit rock bottom, smash these obstacles, and overcome everything. And it is painful. It is painful. It hurts. It's hard because we live in a world where it's everywhere. And it feels so alone when you're trying to live this. But you know what? The clarity I have, how I feel inside, the healthy, I feel bloody amazing, right? My outlook at the moment is just, from a week ago, I was suicidal. To be honest, I was in the hospital. I wanted to end it. I just couldn't deal with this anymore. To now being smashing mountains, man. I'm ready to go, and there's nothing that's going to stop me. You know what I mean? Nothing is going to stop the promises and truths that God has told me, has given each and every one of us, and I'm going after that, right? I'm not going to let anything in this world break or stop me from becoming the healthy, sober man I need to be for my kids' lives, for my life, for my future spouse's life, if that ever happens, and just for life in general, for people that I come across and meet. Now, if you want to change something in your life, first be honest and look inside, right? Get rid of that pride, that ego, that fear. Turn off your television because that's full of fear and brainwashing, and get out in the real world. We're too much on these phones, even myself. That's the next thing that's going soon once I've gathered all the stuff I need off it. And then live a life how we're meant to be. How much more enjoyment was it back in the 80s or the 90s when we were younger? Right? We had to go to ride around in the streets to go look for our mates. Nowadays, everyone's got cars and they still don't come look for you. So, you know what I mean? Find happiness within first. If you need help or support, reach out. I'm here. I just felt the need to share this, and hoping it helps people. Just want to let you know I love yous. God bless. Take care. And hopefully that wasn't too long. Take it easy.